Haven't been back home from university for about a month now. I think it's time to debrief. We get unusually long holidays at university, and I don't think it's just at Cambridge though, because I know some of the people who have long holidays like me. I've been off for 6 weeks, which is the same as the summer holidays that we would have at the end of the year. But no, we're having this in the middle of the year, so it feels so weird. So weird. We had a discussion in my college before we left about home. Going home, the feelings that you might expect, and how to kind of deal with that long period. And before I was like, what do you mean, like the long period? It's just going home, right? But it does have a very specific effect on some people. Many times when you go back home after being at university for a long time, you don't really have your old place to fit back into, because you have changed. You've been to university now, you're not the same person that you were 3 months or 2 months ago, and you spend most of your time at university. So it's essentially like you've moved out and your family have moved on without you. So much has happened. I used to be in the loop with things that happened, and then, you know, my phone broke and I was too busy to even try to call often, and I came back and things had changed. Things had happened, like there were events that happened, and my mum would be like, didn't I tell you about it? I was like, no, I didn't know. For some people, it makes them not want to go back home because they know that they're going to feel out of place, and they kind of have made a new person. They've made a new life for themselves at university. Like, I know for sure there are things at university that just do not apply to my life here at all, and vice versa. Like, the cultures are extremely different, and I can imagine that being exasperated if you're an international student. You basically create two versions of yourself, and they don't really mix well. I remember being told there are two types of people: people who love going back home and don't want to come back, and people who hate going back home and want to stay at university. I am definitely the first. I feel like I've been home for ages, but the closer that university draws, I just kind of feel like I don't want to go back. I'm obviously gonna go back. It's not an option for myself. I guess it's the kind of normal feeling that you've just had such a good time, like you do when it's the summer holidays and you've had like so much fun, and you don't want to have to go back into like a stuffy classroom and start sitting down with books. But I've had to do some studying. I haven't done as much as I would have liked to do because I have mocks when I go back, and I think that is definitely playing a part as to why I don't want to go back, because I don't feel ready for the mocks. Also, I feel at home because I am, and I know going back to university, that's all going to change again. And last term wasn't the best. Like, it wasn't the worst, but there were just some trials that made it more challenging than it needed to be. And I feel like that has shaped my mindset for the rest of the term. This happens to a bunch of people. Students all over just dread going back to university because of the work and of being so far from home, and crazy different factors. This isn't widely talked about. The mental health of students is acknowledged to be bad, but there isn't always great help around. It's fine to feel like you don't want to go back. It's fine to dread it, and it's fine to be sad about it. Just as on the other hand, it's fine to not want to go back home and to kind of prefer the personality that you've made at university for various reasons. If every time you go back home, you've missed your family, you missed your friends, but then when you go back, you kind of don't fit in anymore, or you're having arguments and you're like, this was meant to be fun, like why are we arguing? And sometimes it's just the build-up, it's that anticipation that everything has to go perfectly and everything has to be exactly right that makes the environment right for tension. And once you acknowledge that, it can help you feel better, or start to feel better. But yeah, this is just how I'm feeling after my first term in first year of university. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of second term. I don't know how I'm gonna feel at the end of first year. And it'll be interesting to see. And it's interesting to know how other students cope with it and how other students in other years cope with it. So if you guys want to share your thoughts, please do. And yeah, I thought I'd do a little video to just talk about the experience of being at home for so long. This is something that an older student commented. They basically said that being home for so long can feel like you're going into storage, because you're not quite sure if you should unpack fully because you're just going to leave again, but you can't just live out of your boxes because you're there for so long. It's a weird state of mind to be in, and for the first week that I came back, I hadn't unpacked the first week I came back, I hadn't unpacked properly. I still had my stuff. My room was crazy. And I still have things that don't really belong. I have my textbooks that don't fit anywhere else, so they're just in a box. I have extra baskets and shoe boxes. Then you start to get back into the flow of being at home, and I can just imagine like first week at university is going to be a bit jarring, not just because of mocks, but just because I'm having to get up to the flow of things again. I'm gonna miss being able to do my laundry so easily again, and I'm gonna miss my kitchen being so close again, and I'm gonna miss having a freezer and an oven. This is just a quick one to kind of dump out my thoughts about first term, first holiday, and hopefully this has helped other students. If you've been feeling kind of weird, like sometimes you just have bouts of sadness and you're kind of like, why am I feeling sad? I'm supposed to be happy. It happens because you're constantly going through big changes. And yeah, it's okay to feel that way. We'll see how second term goes. Anyway, that's all from me, and I'll see you guys in my next one.